Hello everyone and welcome to another one of my fantastic videos. Today I have one of my favorite decks for you today. This is my Meren of Clan Nel Toth deck. It is a grave-based deck, pretty much just graveyard shenanigans. Get stuff in and out a bunch of times with enter the battlefield effects and so on and so forth. I could probably use a couple of other cards in here. Panharmonicon would be a great add. Also, anything that is a lot of mass sacrifice, like Smokestack, would also be good for this type of deck. I don't have those cards in here at this time, but a lot of other really great cards in here instead. So, without further ado, let's get right on with the deck. There's the commander. Put that right aside. Starting right away with the lands. We have my non-mana lands. I have my real Diamond Valley. If you've seen some of my other videos, you've seen my proxy one. Well, there is the real deal right there. It is it's a rather beat one. You can see it's all janked up on the edges and stuff, but even with that, it was still over $100. So don't want to be buying one of them for every one of my decks. This is a proxy Bazaar of Baghdad. I don't actually have a real one, but I like to play this one anyway. It's just a casual deck, as all of my decks are. Not really intended to be competitive or anything, but if I were to enter this in a competitive situation, which honestly I wouldn't, not this commander, I would definitely take this out. Alright, then I have a bunch of swamps, some forests, more forests, lots of forests in here because I do play some fetching, some ramp. Then we have some Jungle Hollow, Golgari, Guild Gate, Tainted Wood. I have a Command Tower. So this is a two-color deck. I'll tell you, if I ever needed another Command Tower and forgot to pick one up or whatever, this one would be coming out of this deck. Whoops. Alright. Woodland Cemetery, Golgari Rod Farm, Blooming Marsh. Then I have a Nykthos Shrine to Nyx. Pretty much a staple if I'm going to do a one or two color deck. High Market, because we need lots and lots of sock outlets in this deck. So there's one right there, and here's another one, the Grim Backwoods. I don't know what the front woods look like, but the back ones are pretty creepy. So there we go. That's a sack outlet as well as some draw. Here's a card you don't see a lot, Scorched Ruins. You have to sack 2 untapped lands when it comes into play, but it produces 4 colorless mana, so it's really good fast ramp on... I wouldn't play it before turn 3. An underrated card, again, for 1 or 2 color. I always like to play the Visions bounce lands. People say they're slow because you have to bounce an untapped land, but I think it's faster in the long game rather than the short. And let's face it, when you're playing a casual EDH, it's all long game. So I play the Jungle Basin and the Everglades, the green and black versions. I also have a Phyrexian Tower. Again, this is a sack outlet and good for some mana. Wasteland for those, getting rid of those nasty Gaia's Cradles and Homeward Path and that sort of thing. Jukabog for some Grave Hate. A lot of people in my play group actually play this deck, so I have this for them, so screw them, right? Soul Ring. Another one of my Inception proxy Sensei's Divining Tops. Then again, another staple for 1 and 2 color decks. We have the Medallions, so the Emerald and Jet Medallion. And then we move on. We have another sack outlet / mana source, the Ashnod's Altar. Another sack outlet of Altar of Dementia. This has actually won me a few games, milling my opponent. But what you could also do is, say you have used a divining top and you have crap on the top, then you could sack a small guy and get rid of that garbage off the top. Or maybe stuff you want to have in your grave, like some big creatures, that you would go ahead and use that for that too. Birthing Pod is pretty much a staple for this deck. Sack a creature and get a 1 higher mana cost out of the deck. Pretty much a staple for this deck. There's a lot of really good 5 and 4 costs in here, as well as the 3s and 4s to get them out. So definitely want to include one of those building this deck. Skull Clamp, pretty much a given. You want to be able to destroy your own creatures with the ability and card draw and put this on stuff and sack, and so on and so forth. I play 1 Planeswalker in this deck, and here he is. It's Garruk the Wild Speaker. There's probably a bunch of other really good Planeswalkers you could play in this deck. Liliana Vess, also the black and green Garruk, Apex Predator, I believe it is, as well as Vraska the Unseen. Probably 1 or 2 other good green ones you can do. The green 2014 Commander might be a good one. It makes little mana dorks as well as stuff that you can sack. You can sack those guys really easily. 1 Proxied Vampiric Tutor, for obvious reasons. Entomb, pretty much a staple in this deck. You want to be able to put the creatures into your grave right out of your library to be able to recur them back out. Moving on, we have a bit of spot removal, some Putrefy. Moving on from here, we have Mulch. This comes with the deck, but this is I bought a half a box of Stronghold a while back and got an original Stronghold copy, so I figured I had it, so I really liked the artwork. So I went and put the original artwork in instead. Good way to get some lands and dump some creatures into your graveyard on the cheap. Kodama's Reach for some land fetch. Primal Growth, again land fetch as well as a sack outlet. Eldritch Evolution, fantastic card. Sack a creature and get something that costs up to 2 mana more, converted mana cost, and put it directly onto the battlefield. So basically you want to do say a 2 or a 3 and get your 4 or 5s. Lots of great 4s and 5s in this deck. Few bigger ones, but you really want to be able to get your Lord of Extinction or Mazarek Crowd Death Priest out very, very quickly. So this is a great card for that. As well as Natural Order. Natural Order, same thing. Mazarek Crowd Death Priest and the Lord of Extinction, as they are technically still green creatures, even though they are not mono green. So definitely include one of those. Buried Alive, same reasons as Entomb, but 3 times as good. Behold the Beyond, great late game card. Discard your hand, triple Demonic Tutor, so you can go and get the 3 cards you need to wrap this game up, and it's pretty much a win from there on in. Exhume for some early grave recursion. And some Beacon of Unrest, same thing a little later. Victimize, more graveyard shenanigans. Innocent Blood, because you can sack easy and they cannot. Barter and Blood, same reason. This is a recent ad, a Greater Good. I took the original Urza Saga Greater Good for some, it's a sack outlet as well as a great draw engine. and it lets you put stuff into your grave that you need in your grave. So it is a win-win-win. Moving on, we have a Proxy Sylvan Library. Pretty much any green deck you would play a Sylvan Library. Pattern of Rebirth. Put this on a creature, sack that creature, get to search for another creature. Can't go wrong there. Pernicious Deed. Done dirt cheap. And get some removal going on there. Grave Pact. Pretty much a staple for this deck for removal. Dictate. Same thing. Solemn Simulacrum. Pretty much a staple for any deck, I would think. Viridian Emissary. This guy goes back and forth so many times because he's so cheap. It's a great early game card to get lots of lands out really quick. So that's an include. He also comes with the deck, makes it even easier. Sakura Tribe Elder. Same thing as the Emissary. You have Amaya Elder. Card draw, land fetch. Great guy. Bloodghast. If you need to sack somebody a bunch of times, this is your man. Then I have Fleshbag Marauder for encouraging more sacking. Merciless Executioner, same thing, different dude. Slum Reaper, same thing, costs 1 more, and is 1/1 bigger. But we sack that anyway, even still. Acidic Slime for some great removal. Viridian Zealot, more artifact and enchantment hate. This deck is very toolboxy. It has a lot of stuff like that in there. Withered Wretch for some grave hate. Spike Weaver. This guy, this is one of those 4 costs I was talking about. You want to get this guy out fairly early. If you can keep him coming back from the grave, nobody can ever deal combat damage to you. So he's an infinite fogger almost. Grim Horror Specs. For some draw power, Undercity Informer, a sack outlet, as well as be able to get stuff into your grave. Phyrexian Rager for some draw power. Wall of Blossoms, more draw power, as well as a blocker and a sackable. Corrosda. Guild Mage, sack outlet, and gets lots and lots of sapperling creatures. Maybe you want to use this on Lord of Extinction when he comes out. Get like 20 or 30 big, small creatures. And then throw this here Mazrik out, and maybe a Barter and Blood or something along those lines, and those little guys will become huge real quick. Gerard, Golgari Lichlord, sack outlet, go make your opponent lose life equal to what you sacked. Fantastic card for, again, Lord of Extinction. Mind Slicer, get rid of your opponent's hands very quickly. Very useful mid-game as well as late game. Michaeloth, sack outlet, makes lots of dudes, gets really big, good for your Gerard and your Alter Dementia and things along those lines. And the all-important Lord of Extinction. Avenger of Zendikar, another brute for the deck. Regal Force, another brute, as well as some card draw. Shieldred, kills their stuff, gets your stuff back, and he's a big brute. Wow, she's a big brute. Somebody's a brute. That thing, yeah. Shriekmaw, removal. Phyrexian Plaguelord. This guy is an all-star in this deck. This guy sucks in every other deck, but he is amazing in this deck right here. He's a sack outlet to get rid of. It gets around Indestructible. It gets around Regenerate. It's just an amazing card. Lets you sack all your small creatures to get rid of a bunch of their creatures. And you could just keep getting him back again and again and again. And just amazing. Trust me. Leave that card in. Duplicate, more removal. Noxious Gear Hulk. Again, removal. Verdant Force. For some big thuggery. Terastodon. Big Thug, as well as removal. It makes all their permanents elephant. Okay, that was a really bad pun. Elephant. Elephant. I can't even say it right. Alright, moving on. Butcher Malakir. Same reason as the Grave Pact. And, yeah, but in creature form. And last but not least, the Goat. In my play group, it's just the Goat. It's Pathbreaker Ibex. We just call him the Goat because when we're talking about goats, this is the goat we're talking about. Get this guy out, swing in for big, big damage. You swing him with the Lord of Extinction, and that's game over for everyone. And that was yet another fantastic video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, share with your friends, comments, questions, videos of you doing a little dance, whatever. Just put them in the comments. And have a great day.